Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911. My name is Tim, and the video I'm going to do today is basically on doing a investigation in a structure, whether it's a home, a building, an old hospital, a school. It's a little different than doing an outdoor. I mean, they're basically the same, but there's different things you need to kind of watch out for to debunk when you're doing these type of videos. So I'm going to kind of go over it, and I probably will do another video on outdoor, where I've had some comments on the one I did. There was a lot of things they weren't quite sure what I was talking about, or I just didn't explain them right, so I'll probably go and do another one on an outdoor investigation. Now on an indoor, just kind of like an outdoor, you basically want to find out or come determine on where you want to do your investigation. Try to find out as much information as you can about where you're planning on going. That I mean by find some history out on it. See if there's been any reports of any type of paranormal activity. See if there's been any type of death or major accidents where people have passed away. These kind of information kind of helps you out on doing your investigation. It lets you know a little bit more about what you might be trying to get in contact with, what you're looking for. So information is very important when you do paranormal investigation. Now, I did a video on a lot of the different types of equipment that can be used in doing an investigation. We don't use the same equipment on each one of the investigations we do. Just depending on what we're doing, we use different devices. So you can kind of choose, make up your own choice of what you want to use on these investigations. I usually use the basic, which is an instant camera, taking still shots, video cam to be able to record and document things that we're able to capture. I like to use an EMF meter or K2 meter. That way we can pick up on any type of energy that is around us. It'll make it light up for us. Also, I use a digital voice recorder. Don't use it all the time, but I use it quite a bit, because a lot of times I'll use it and ask questions as where the spirit can speak back through, and it'll pick it up through a digital recorder. Also, I use like a spirit box. Now, there's many different spirit boxes out there. The one I like the most is Electrophonics. It's an app that you can download on your phone. I like it because it doesn't have all the white noise, or it's not scanning the radio stations. It's based off of I'll take that back, it's based off of 8 different word banks, which enables the spirit to manipulate to be able to speak through to us. As always, if you're doing a nighttime investigation, make sure you have flashlights. Some people, they just take one flashlight. I always like to have a backup flashlight. If you're in the dark and your flashlight goes out and you don't have any other way of being able to see, you're in the dark. You're having to fumble around trying to find your way back to your vehicle or wherever you're trying to get to. So make sure you have plenty of flashlights for backup, as well as make sure you have plenty of batteries for your equipment, because spirits will drain your equipment. Not only your camera, your flashlights, it'll even drain your phones. So make sure you have some backup when you go do your investigations. Now, I want to talk a little bit. These are investigations, or the information I'm going to give is kind of based on some of the investigations, like what we would do. Like I say, there's no really right way or wrong way to do investigation. There's just so many ways that you can do one. You just gotta kind of choose on what you're trying to capture, or what you want to do. Uh, I use probably 4 or 5 or even more uh, kind of ideas or styles of doing an investigation. Because a lot of times I'll go out there and I may go in there and be there an hour and using one kind of method and getting nothing. I'll leave for about 15, 20 minutes, kind of regroup, switch out a little bit of my equipment, go back in with a little different game plan, and try again using a different method. So, you can do different things trying to do these investigations. On a house, after I've gathered all my information, um, pretty much when I go to a place for any investigation, I always, say a prayer. It's kind of a habit I've gotten into, and I think it's a real good one to kind of say a prayer, asking for the Lord to protect you, watch over you. Also, as I'm doing my investigation, well, before I go there, on talking with the spirits, getting them to become communicators, a lot of times I'll go in and just do kind of a visual walkthrough, on the property where I'm going to be doing an investigation. I'll take my K2 meter with me, and that way I can kind of go around different spots to see if I can get any type of reading off of it. A lot of times you'll get a reading, you want to kind of debunk it, because when you're doing it inside, a lot of times there's power to the property, and electricity or power source will set off your K2 meter. So just kind of debunk that as you're going around. Just I move from room to room, and I kind of go high with it, low with it, around the walls. And a lot of times when it lights up, I'll kind of back off and look a little bit and see if there's electrical outlet there, or in the kitchen, appliances, refrigerators, ACs, anything that would throw off electricity, a power charge, to where it would set off the meter. So kind of go through that and debunk that. So that way, when you're doing your investigation and the meter does happen to go off on you, you say, well, that's because there's a power source right here. So we can debunk that. It's not any type of spirit activity. So make sure you do that. The same thing on pay attention to where, like, your air ducts are, vents, because if you're in a room and it has plants in it or curtains, a lot of times you might see those move during your investigation, and you might think, well, that's a spirit making it move. But double check, make sure there's no vents that are blowing at it, that the AC or the heater is on to make it move. Either windows, make sure the window's not open, or just kind of feel in around the window, see if you feel any type of airflow coming through. Same on doors. If a door would move, kind of check it out and see if there's some cause that could be making that door move. If you can't find any reason, any logical reason for why that door would move, if there's no vent there or no draft coming through, and we're probably starting to get some kind of paranormal activity. And it kind of helps, knowing your surroundings too when you walk through, especially if you're doing a nighttime investigation. Because when we do our nighttime, we're pretty much totally in the dark, because our camera, we switch it to nighttime for the infrared to work. So the only thing you're really seeing is what you're looking through the monitor on your camera. So you can't see anything else around you. You turn the camera off, you're just totally in the dark. You can't even see the end of your nose. So it's kind of good to have a familiar around the areas you're going, because if you're doing it that way, you're not going to just bump into a table or run into a wall or a chair, or trip over something. So it helps to be kind of familiar. You can take a flashlight with you and use it. If you're going around, you might want to look ahead of you a couple steps before you walk any further. That's fine. Use the flashlight, take a little bit of look around, and then go back to the dark. Or you can just keep a flashlight on, just keep it down low so it doesn't kind of interfere or affect with your video, because a lot of times using a flashlight while you're videoing, you might cast it on something that causes it to reflect over on the wall, or reflect something ahead of you. Uh, and that way, kind of makes you think you might have seen a shadow figure or something. So that's one reason why I like to do total darkness, because whatever does show up on the camera is usually what we're actually capturing. When we go do our investigations, where I was at before I went into that part was we did our prayer before we go in, asking for our protection. And then when I go in, I kind of introduce myself, why I'm there, what we are trying to do. And for instance, for example, I say, my name is Tim, and I'm here to try to film, see if we can't communicate with the spirits that are here, get them to come and interact with us. I let them know that I'm not here to harm them in any way. The equipment I have with me, it will not harm them in any way. We would just like for them to come and communicate with us, let us know that they are here with us. They can show their presence to us. They can make something move. They can make a noise, a knocking sound, open or close a door. If there's power to the building and you're in the dark, ask them to turn a light on for you. And I kind of use it kind of not necessarily a joking way, but it's kind of like, I don't know how you put it, like I'm in trouble or something. Like I'm in the dark, like, could you please turn the light on for me? I can't see where I'm going. Just something like that. Because I found that a lot of times I do that, I'm in the dark, and I know where I'm at, obviously, and there's no really danger or any problem, but I make it sound like that, by asking them to turn a light on. And I have had that happen. The light did turn on for me. Or if I'm in a room, say, oh, this room's too bright, this light's too bright, could you please turn the light off? And I've had that happen. So, I mean, just kind of use your mind, come up with little different ways here and there, different things that a spirit could possibly do, because there's a wide range of things that they are able to do. I'm not saying that all of them can do these things. It depends on the energy they have to what they are able to manipulate or do. One that doesn't have very much energy is not going to be able to do a lot. As to where one that has quite a bit of energy, they're going to be the more active ones. Because you have to have a lot of energy, or spirit does, if it's going to manifest to where it can show itself either as an apparition or a shadow figure. They have to have a good bit of energy to be able to move objects, open doors. You don't have to have so much in order to make a knocking sound, or if you have small objects, they're able to move those, be able to use their voice. I believe they still have to have quite a bit of energy to do that. I don't think they can just do it. Of course, a lot of these things they're probably not going to do for you. You just never know. They have happened to me. Sometimes they don't. When you do investigations, I always tell people, if you're doing this or want to do this, you have to have a lot of patience. You definitely have to have a lot of patience, because you may go to a place and spend an hour there, 2 hours, maybe even longer, and you're going through all the right steps, the procedures, got the right equipment, asking the right questions, but you get nothing. And it makes you feel like, well, I'm just wasting my time here. There's no spirits in here, no ghosts here, however you want to call them. But it doesn't mean that they aren't. I find a lot of times that I go to a place and spend a couple hours there, maybe longer, and get nothing. So that's fine. Spirits are going to kind of act or show themselves, I guess, pretty much when they want to. When they want to do something, they're going to do it. We can't make them do it. All we can do is kind of invite them to do it. So I find that when I go back maybe the next time, uh, possibly might get something, or it may be the same scenario where I get nothing. But after repeat times of going back, I do find that each time I go back, it's a little different. It's not the same. You know, like I'll go this week and it's just nothing. I go next week, it may still be nothing, but there's a different feeling about it. You know, I always pay attention for hot and cold spots while I'm doing my investigation, because you can be walking around and walk into a real cold change of temperature, or walk into like somebody just turned the oven on and the heat's right there. So kind of pay attention for that, because that's an indication that there could be some type of spirit energy around. But you definitely, just take your time. You do not want to rush through an investigation. I'll go into a room and, I may spend a minute in there, 2 minutes in there, just kind of walking around the room. I just don't go in the door and stop there and just kind of look around. I'll go in and I'll walk around the room. Because like I say, you just, on this side of the room, it just might be just normal temperature like you felt all through the house. But if you walk across to the other side, there might be a cold spot over there. So, kind of check this out. And, pay attention to your surroundings, like I say, for anything that would be easy to move, like a curtain, a plant. Um, if you're in a bathroom, there's a shower curtain, kind of watch for that to move. I always kind of keep an eye on when I'm in a room that has mirrors. I like to watch at those, because sometimes you can see like a figure or a shape come back through it, like a reflection. So kind of keep an eye on those. I always watch and see if I see doors that move, and I kind of try to put in my mind memory the room that I've been in, what it kind of looks like. See if I can't take, like I'm taking a picture of it, keep it in my mind. That way, when I go do other rooms, I'll come back and do these rooms over and over, maybe 2, 3, 4 times. And when I come back in the room the next time, I'll kind of visualize, look over it, and sometimes I'll see stuff that'll kind of catch me, like that's moved, or it wasn't there, or that fell over, or something's different about it. So kind of keep an eye on things like that too. It helps in your investigation if you kind of pay attention to what is around you, um, to see if anything maybe have moved, or there's some kind of change in there. Spirit box. When I do a spirit box session, I usually do that on all my videos. Um, I kind of wait till I maybe been there half hour, kind of going through the whole house, and see what areas I kind of pick up on that give me a feeling that, a little stronger, or a feeling that something's here. It's kind of like a gut feeling or a sixth sense that pretty much everybody has. That you just get, a feeling when you go into a room or something, like there's something here, there's something watching us, or you just have a different feeling. Those areas, uh, you know, are the ones I'll concentrate on more. That areas I go into and it just feels like nothing, like there's nothing here, it's just dead. I'll kind of spend more time in the areas where I get kind of a feeling that there could be something there. Not saying that there is, but that there could be something there. Um, Sometimes I'll use trigger toys with me, especially if I'm doing a home, and if there's a child in the family that had passed away from some unfortunate circumstances. I'll take some trigger toys with me, like toys, that I can put down on the floor, down somewhere low. Uh, Basically kind of thinking, well, it's a child, they're not going to be up here, they're going to be down here low. So I put some trigger toys down there, and I'll invite them to come over and play with these toys. I got you some toys here, you're welcome to come over and play with them. Just play with the ball, or play with the musical piano, or toy, whatever they want to play with. And excuse me. And I'll just kind of stand back, back away from it, kind of give them their space, because a lot of times they're, like I say, they're not quite sure who we are, what we're doing. They, most of them don't even know what this equipment is, especially if they passed away uh, quite a while back before any of this equipment was even out or available, so they've never seen anything like it. And they're going to make them kind of scared, not knowing what we're doing. And I feel that's probably one reason why we don't get a lot of activity first time or second time we go to a place. They're more or less just watching us, checking us out, seeing what we're doing, seeing what this equipment does. And once they get a little bit more secure that we're not there to harm them or the equipment's not going to harm them, then it's like they relax and start to come and interact with us. So kind of keep that in mind as well. I even use some trigger toys when I'm even trying to communicate with an adult spirit. Maybe not necessarily a ball or a child's toy, but there's other stuff that can be used. Sometimes I'll use like flashlights. I'll get like 2 or 3 of them, and I'll set them up on a table or on a counter, and I'll have them on, and I'll ask them to go over there and turn them off. Uh, Sometimes you don't get nothing, but I have had times where I've had at least one of them go off. And then I'll ask them, I tell them, I always tell them when something happens, I'll always say, well, I really appreciate it. You're doing good. Could you please turn it back on? It's just like we're having a conversation with them. We invite them to do things, but it's kind of like a child. When they do good, we give them praise. Tell them how well they're doing. You did fine. You did a good job. Basically the same thing with any spirit. If they're performing for you, they're interacting with you, thank them for it. Because I find that if I go back to these places again and again, I find that each time I go back, they're more interactive with me. They'll start doing a lot more. And I've gone to places that I don't know. I've had activity from them, and kind of thanked them for coming and showing themselves. Letting us know they were here with us. And of course, I constantly repeat my name throughout it, especially the spirit box. That way, because I try to get them to say my name or one of the other team members' names, different stuff like that. But I find on several places that I've gone back to, when I turn on my spirit box, that is one of the first things I hear come through is my name. It's like they remember me. They know me now. It's almost like we're friends. They know I'm not there to harm them. And to me, spirits, they like to interact with us. They like to talk with us through our spirit boxes. You know, it's just, in a way, to me, it's almost like they feel like they're still part of this world. Even though we can't see them, they've passed on, but they're still around us. It still makes them feel like they're still present with us. So, these are kind of little tips here and there that, can help you in your investigation. It can give you some ideas, things to think about, different ways you might be able to change things around to help in your investigation. I always do a closing prayer when we leave. I always thank the spirits, that interacted with us, that did something for us. I always thank them. I try to use my K2 meter as much as I can. Get them to come over and touch it, make the lights light up. That way it shows me that they're using their energy. They're right there with us. Sometimes it'll just barely flicker. I say, well, thank you. You're doing great. Can you reach down there and grab a hold of that thing? Just get a hold of it real hard. Use your energy. Make that thing light up all the way for me. And of course, I'll always be polite. Like, can you do this for me, please? I find it's helpful in being able to communicate with spirits. It's like you're showing them some respect. And I think that's really a big part of, doing any investigation. You're showing them respect. You're not trying to disrespect them or show any type of anger or forcefulness to them. Because I find in some of the other paranormal teams I've gone out with, Sometimes to team up and video with them, sometimes just to be there kind of an observer, to see uh, some of the different styles they do, some of the equipment they use, their methods of things. And I have been with some of them that they're not doing exactly, or not quite, they ain't know exactly to it. They're not doing it quite the style like I do. Uh, I like to get the spirit to interact with me, like they're in control. I'm not in control. They're going to do it when they want to on their terms. But some of the investigators I've been with, uh, they'll do kind of a more demanding type uh, situation or investigation where it's almost like they're insulting them in a way, like, oh, you don't have any power. You just think you're got energy to do this, and you can aggravate a spirit. I've seen it happen. I've seen some of these investigators that it's almost like they really agitate them, where the spirits have scratched them, pushed them, thrown stuff at them, slammed doors. I mean, they can get angry, and being not able to be where we can see them, not knowing exactly where they are, a person can get hurt. So keep that in mind. You can be kind of demanding to try to agitate them to do things for you, but it could backfire on you. Some spirits you may, depending on how you say it, they may come over there and do something, but others you might make them angry and they do something else that you really didn't want. So kind of keep that in mind. A closing prayer, and then pretty much we're done. You know, and then of course we go home and view over our videos and see what we got. Listen to our recordings on our spirit box, see what we were able to pick up there. Um, Listen to our digital voice recorder if we used it. Don't know if I touched on spirit box. Let me back up here and go over that just in case I did. If I did, I apologize. But if I didn't, we need to have that in there because it's very important on the spirit box session as well. When I do it, like I say, I try to find the most active room that I feel is active, or if I'm getting any type of K2 meter readings or any type of movement or something, I'll use my spirit box in there because it's more likely that's where spirit energy is. So I'll set up in those areas and do a spirit box session. And on it, I'll basically let them know that what I'm fixing to do, that I'm fixing to do a spirit box session, and that I'm going to be turning it on, and I'll explain to them basically what it is, what it does, inviting them to come over and use their energy to manipulate it, to be able to speak through it to where we can hear their voice. To me, those are pretty much, I don't know, it's not like a ritual or anything like that. It's just something that uh, kind of explaining what you're doing, I guess, in a way, to let them know. And then they'll start using it. Now, I'm not saying that every time you do a spirit box session, you're going to have one come through and talk to you. You will, however, when you turn the spirit box on, you will get a lot of voices and sounds and different things come through. But I believe the majority of that is residual energy. It's like they're talking amongst themselves. But eventually you are going to have a positive spirit or a higher energy spirit come through and actually try to communicate with you. And when I'm doing my spirit box sessions, I'm listening to everything that's coming through, but I'm trying to focus and pinpoint on hearing the same voice. If I hear that same voice, several times throughout the spirit box session, I'll kind of concentrate on those, as well as when I ask questions. Uh, for example, how many spirits are here? Can you say my name? Different things. What color shirt am I wearing? Or ask them who they are. Ask them if they live here, or they're just kind of visiting. I don't know, because uh, I find on some of my investigations that it's actually not a spirit or a family member or somebody that previously owned a house there. Sometimes I find a spirit that's come from I don't know where. It just happens to show up. You know, because spirits, they can, I don't know, go back and forth through the realms. They can travel from place to place. You know, we really don't know how they're able to do a lot of it. I don't think we ever will, but just from doing some of the investigations and my research and everything, I find out that most of the time the spirits are at these places have something to do with being a family member that's passed on, or somebody that's owned house previously, or somebody that's lived there at one time or another, or possibly somebody that a friend right there around the neighborhood that has passed away. They can pop in, but every once in a while I'll get one that, through all the information we can gather on it, we have no idea where it came from. No, nothing around the neighborhood, nobody in the family, nothing. It's just like it came from another town. I have no idea, but you know, that does happen. But pay attention to the sounds, you know, the voice coming through, the questions you're asking, and when you get answers back to your questions, say, well, I heard a yes, or I heard 4. When you're asking how many spirits, see if it's coming back through with one of those voices that you're constantly hearing. And so you can ask your questions with a particular voice, because that's a very good indication that you are communicating with one particular spirit. So kind of keep that in mind as you're doing your spirit box sessions. I think that pretty much covers on this one. Hopefully I was able to explain a little bit better on this video than I did on my first one, or doing an outside investigation, because I had quite a few questions about it. And like I said earlier, I'm probably going to do another one to see if I can explain it a little bit better. If you have any questions on any of it, you know, on equipment, or uh, some of the different ways to do an investigation, be sure to drop down below and hit that comment button. Leave a comment, a question. I do view over my comments, and I'll get back to them as quick as I can. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer depending on where I'm at, because I do quite a few investigations. I do investigations for clients. Uh, you know, so it's a pretty busy schedule. So leave a comment, and while you're there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join our family. Be sure to share with other friends and family, and let them know about our channel. Hopefully they'll come and join us as well. If you like our videos, you know, hit that notification bell. That way, when a new one comes out, you'll be notified. Also, I always tell everybody, if you like our videos, please hit that like button. That lets us know that you enjoyed our videos, that they were entertaining, our educational videos, were able to answer some of your questions you may have had, or give you some ideas on things to do. You know, it lets us know, and it also lets us know which videos that you are liking more. That way we can concentrate on doing more videos down that line, or something similar to it. We're out to please the viewers, give them something that's entertaining to watch, as well as educational. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance to drop back and see some of my other educational videos, because I just put out, I believe this is the 5th, maybe 6th one, on different subjects that I've been doing, kind of like a series. So go back and check those out. They could be helpful to you, or benefit to you. Go watch some of our actual investigations we've done. Um, Until our next video, stay safe, and see you on our adventures.